Up. I really appreciate it. Okay, now that we're resuming after Tisha B'Av, so maybe we should go back just to get a running start since we've had a few days, so to speak, break. So again, we're on page 19. Now again, this is an important halacha for us to have clear, unlike my lens a few minutes ago. Baruch Hashem, we clear that up. So in Yud Ches, the Machaber says as follows: so the following things need to that you wash with water. Now again, as I mentioned last time, it's important with water because we'll see that there's such a thing as you could clean your hands, you could do nikayon of your hands on other things like a piece of cloth, like a towel or a garment or something like that. So therefore, the Machaber in this case specifies that no, in these cases you need water. Again, we started it, but we didn't finish it. Akami mita, me'amita, next page, page 20. Kama mita, as we've been discussing, getting up in the morning, get up from bed. If you come out of the bathroom, we base on merchats, or from the bathhouse, right? Again, we don't appreciate the way we live. We don't have to go to bathhouses anymore, Baruch Hashem. Someone who cuts their nails. You take off your shoes. You touch your feet. You scratch your head. Okay, so those are the ones you have to wash for. Then some say, someone who went amongst the dead, again, as we discussed last time, going to a cemetery. Someone who actually touched a mace. Someone who delouses his hair, delouses himself. Mishamish mitaso, husband and wife who had marital relations. If you actually touched a lice, whatever. And if you touched your body, we'll have to define that, with your hand. Anyone who experienced one of these things that we just mentioned, and didn't wash his hand, even so then if he's a Talmid Chacham, he forgets his learning class. And if he isn't a Talmid Chacham, he becomes unstable. And we discussed that last time also. Again, the way we have still some things to finish up. So basically, the way we came out from the Mishnah Berurah Lamites is that when we talk about washing, like in the way we've been talking about washing with water, alternating hands 3 times. So there, the Mishnah Berurah says that it's only for a person who wakes up in the morning, get out of bed, and also some are machmir holech bein amesim u'mishamesh mitaso. Those 3 you need debeinan gam kein shlosh pamim. So you not only need to wash with water, you need to wash 3 times, alternating hands, as we've been discussing when we talk about waking up in the morning. Then if you look at the Mishnah Berurah Mem Aleph, so one of the things we talk about is if you touch your shoes. So if you look at the Mishnah Berurah Mem Aleph, we didn't do this. Mishum shanogea biyadav be'ez hachalitza, because this is talking about that you touch the shoe when you're taking it off. Let's say you didn't touch the shoe, right? You just untied the laces. Let's say you have laces. Or let's say you have slip-on shoes and you just slipped them off and you didn't touch them, right? People do that. A lot of people do that. Some people even leave the laces tied and just slip their shoe in. So I don't know why they just don't get slip-ons, but okay, whatever. So again, if you did not touch the shoe, then you don't have to wash your hands. In other words, the issue is touching the shoe. because the shoe was dirty and so on, right? You can imagine. Again, we don't appreciate. I remember the Rebbitzin talking to us, first Rebbitzin, talking to us about Radin. We have this picture of Radin, but it was a small Polish city. The streets weren't paved. It was muddy very often. And again, it's not just Radin. I'm not saying anything. Radin was a capital city, right? Not in the secular sense, but in a real Torah sense. But like most cities, they didn't have paved streets, and you walked around and you got either dusty in the summer or muddy in the winter. So the shoes were, to use a halakhic term, yucky, right? So if you took off your shoes, so therefore, if you didn't touch the shoe, just slipped it off or whatever, you don't have to wash. All those things that we mentioned, touching your shoe, touching your feet, or we'll see covered parts of the body, we'll see this later, or you scratch your head, Eino mishum ruach ra. It's not because of ruach ra. People, that's why I said when we started learning this halacha, people get mixed up in their, because again, and I understand that, because there's a bunch of things mentioned, so therefore people think, erroneously, that for all these things you have to wash your hands alternating. So here the Mishnah says very clearly that for taking off your shoe, for touching your feet or scratching your scalp, Eino mishum ruach ra. That's not because of ruach ra, rak mishum nikiyus. It's because of cleanliness. It's not because of ruach ra. Al kain ein sarech memaher litol yadav tekev. Therefore, you don't have to rush. Right? We know we learned that when you get up in the morning, you should wash negelvasser as soon as possible. Right? Anything else, you should try to wash as soon as possible because you don't want the ruach ra on you. But these things are not ruach ra. These things it's gunky, it's dirty, it's nikiyus. It's to keep your hands clean. It's so a Jew should always have to have clean. You can't bench or daven or learn with it. It's not right? So therefore, you have to go wash your hands. Masha ein kain beinach mishum ruach ra, which is not true with the ones we mentioned before, which is because of ruach ra. So again, that's very important to distinguish between the two and know which are what. In other words, which are ruach ra, and therefore require alternating washing the hands with water, alternating hands 3 times or 4 times, and what is because of nikiyus that you need to just because your hands are dirty, so or they're not where they touch something dirty. So again, let's go back one to mem. So we also said if you someone leaves the bathroom. Now this is going to be very interesting. So look what the Chavetz Chaim says in mem. Going back one, someone who left the bathroom. It's very clear in halacha, even if you didn't go to the bathroom. You just went into the bathroom. Now today, again, this is very nogea because sometimes people go in the bathroom, I don't know, wash your hands, you want to brush your hair, you want to, there's a lot of reasons, you have a bunch of stuff in the bathroom. Now people have a medicine cabinet, there's all this sorts of reasons, which is interesting, which shows you the difference between just a very simple, practical, there, in the old days, an outhouse or, that was just to go to the bathroom. Now it's multifunctional. Again, we'll have to discuss that. So again, but the halakha is very clear. If you even if you didn't go to the bathroom, just being in a bathroom. So too with a bathhouse. Let's say you didn't bathe there. Why? Now based upon, right, I did this for a reason. Did the second Mishnah Berurah first, right? I did Mem'al before Mem, right? Because here the Mishnah Berurah says, so you go out of a bathroom or a bathhouse, you have to wash. Why? Mishum ruach rosh shora be'elo makamos. There's a ruach ra that is in those type of places. So again, the $64,000 question is, based upon everything I just said, are our bathrooms the same thing as those bathrooms? In other words, again, I could picture, Baruch Hashem, I can't. Well, actually, you could in a way. Kanai Nahar in this neighborhood, you could go almost down any street, residential street, and what are they doing? They're tearing down a house and building a bigger house, right? Kanai Nahar. So what do they have in all these places? They have a temporary bathroom for the workers, right? There's a whole industry.
Porta potties.
Yeah. Right? So you see them all over the place. So, actually, I wasn't in the shop, but those, you can imagine, those are like outhouses. Actually, they're probably better than outhouses, I assume. They're better than outhouses. When we were remodeling and we had those things in the back, they were small, but they weren't bad, They weren't an outhouse. But again, you can imagine, those people, most people would not want to use them. But those are light years better than an outhouse. So we can imagine like an outhouse that was smelly and or a bathhouse also is probably clammy and like our showers or bathtubs are okay, so maybe right afterwards it's clammy and sticky, but we have ventilation and we have so that's the shaila. The shaila is when we talk about these halachas. So we just said that if you just go into a bathroom, you have to wash your hands. Now again, based upon what we just saw in the Mishnah, how do you wash your hands? You have to alternate. It's not just wash your hands, right? Because there's a ruach ra. So the shaila is, does that apply today? So the Chazon Ish has a tshuva, or a Chaim Zayin Daled, that the Chazon Ish says, well, the Chazon Ish is mesupuk, right? That's a very shocking thing, right? You'd think the Chazon Ish didn't have any doubts about anything, right? Assume not. He was very clear on the date line, and that was... so he's nistapek whether it has our bathrooms are the same, but the Rosh Shlomo Zalman Auerbach Zeichel Tzaddik V'Racha and Hilchos Shlomo, and also the Minchas Yitzchak Dayan Weiss Zeichel Tzaddik V'Racha are lenient, and they say it's different. It's different. And the same thing applies by bathing places, showers, bathtubs. Same thing if they have the same halacha. So again, we see a lot of people are very lenient about that our bathrooms are different. There's a whole discussion because the waste goes away right away. They're ventilated. They're this. They're also, Ramosha has a tshuva, though, that despite all this, he says you shouldn't wash netilas time for eating, right, for bread, in a bathroom. But I one time saw an Adam Gadol, I was buying Adam Gadol, and I think it was, I don't remember what it was, and he washed in a bathroom, but he dried his hands and washed, and made the bracha, obviously. Dried his hands and made the bracha outside the bathroom. That was a Ma'aser Rav that I saw. I don't want to say who it was.
Is the ruach ra a type of tumah?
It's a ruach ra. We can't. Again, like I said, I don't know. I'm sure I said it here that we should understand it a little better, even though I don't understand it. Is now, especially now, unfortunately with COVID and everything. We understand what invisible forces do, how destructive they are. So, what's a ruach ra? I don't believe in it. Okay, so you don't believe in germs either, right? The same way that there's physical germs. I told this to somebody recently who wasn't so careful about washing their hands in the morning. I said, "Do you believe in germs?" Yeah. So these are germs. It's just a different type of germ. It's a spiritual germ, which I assume is worse. Physical germ, take 2 aspirin and call me in the morning, It's, as we see, and we'll learn later, if you, oh well, we learned already. If you have a ruach ra, right, you should try to wash them when you wake up in the morning as soon as possible. Don't dilly dally, right? To have a ruach ra is very similar. We don't understand the effects and how bad it is for a person.
Do we still believe in mazikim and shading? It still exists?
That's a discussion. They're definitely mazikim, but I think it's the Paleo. It says, well, that's an ayin hara. That he says it depends on how much you believe in it. But that's an ayin hara. I don't know, but there's definitely things like that. They say that shadim are different. I forgot who says that. I saw that recently. Shadim don't have, but yeah, I mean, there's definitely those things. There's definitely those things, Okay. So again, that is something very important. Okay, so again, we have to have clear about the difference between nikias and ruach ra. Again, we've seen things which are nikias, shoes, touching our shoes, scratching our scalp, touching places which are normally, well, we'll see more about that. So let's go on to, we just got a couple more minutes, but let's do your tests. Hamekiz dam maxafayim. If a person, as you know, in the old days, or actually not that long ago, I think they still do it, they used to do bloodletting. We'll discuss about leeches, but from the shoulders, that's what they used to do it. And he didn't, v'lo natal yadav, and he didn't wash his hands. Mefakad shiva yamim. He should be concerned for 7 days. Mehamegaleach, because someone cuts his hair, or cuts his beard. Also, I assume v'lo natal yadav, and didn't wash his hands. Mefakad shlosh yamim. So then you should be concerned for 3 days. No tel tzi parnav. So we mentioned before cutting nails. So then v'lo natal yadav, and he didn't wash his hands. Yom echad, they should be concerned for 1 day. But he doesn't know what he should be afraid of. In other words, if you know what you should be afraid of, so then you keep your eyes open for that thing. But if you have no clue, so then so now this halacha is very interesting for a lot of reasons. First of all, okay, we discussed before that you should wash if you cut your nails, right? But we didn't mention before about bloodletting or right, or haircuts. We didn't mention that before. So all of a sudden, the Mechaber is adding those. So we're going to have to discuss that bli neder tomorrow, and also, obviously, the $64,000 question on this halacha is, he said, if you bloodlet, if they did hakazas dam from the shoulders. So obviously the question is, how about if you did a blood test or you gave blood? That's not from the shoulder; it's from the arm. So do you have to wash after a blood test, or a person gave right? People in the shul give blood. Somebody in the shul gave blood, and they called and they told the person they have antibodies from COVID. He didn't even know, But anyways, so. Okay, but we're going to have to see that tomorrow, so I'll give you a reason to come back. Okay, Yashkok, everyone, Mincha is in 10 minutes. Meretz Hashem tomorrow, same time, same channel.